Hello everyone, and welcome to today's Take 5 Solid Rock Daily Devotional. Today I'm going to talk about the grace of God that supplies over and abundantly for what we lack or what we need. When we read in the Bible and we read about the heroes of faith, we often see them as saints and people to be followed, examples that we should, follow after. And in many ways, these people are examples. But one thing we forget is that these men and women were not perfect. They were flawed. They made many mistakes. But yet, that did not stop God from using them. An example is one of that of Abraham. And when we read the story of Abraham, Abraham was picked not because he was a flawless man. Abraham was picked when God chose Abraham. Abraham was living in a very paganistic society. They were worshipping many gods. They had household gods. And I'm sure the standard of morality was not near the standards of God's perfect law. But still, God chose him. And we read in the Bible that when God called Abraham, Abraham believed and he obeyed. And Genesis 15:6 says, Abraham believed the Lord, and it was credited to him as righteousness. God did not take into account that Abraham was a sinner. He did not take into account that Abraham knew nothing about his law. He only took into account the fact that Abraham put his faith in God, because God knew that his grace was going to supply for the rest. And even still, when Abraham was chosen, we can see that in his walk, he still made plenty of mistakes. And we read that he lied about Sarah not being his wife, for example, and he had a child with the servant of his wife. Well, in today's moral standard, we all know that we wouldn't pick such a man as an example. Yet, God did. And Abraham was chosen as the father of so many nations. Now, what I want to talk about today is maybe God has given you a vision to run with. Maybe you know in your heart that there's something that you need to do, but you look at your mistakes, you look at your shortcomings, you look at maybe your lack of resources or provision, you look maybe at your lack of connections and you think, that's not me. I don't think God has chosen me. But on the contrary, God picked you. If God picked you, He didn't pick you because you had plenty, you had everything to fulfill the vision. No, He picked you because He put something in you to run with the vision. And He knew that His grace would supply over and abundantly for everything that you lacked. So I want to encourage you today. Many of us are chosen. We are born with a specific purpose. We are born to run with a vision, and we have a very specific task to play in today's society. And you have a specific task to play in today's society. Remember, God did not pick you because you had everything. He picked you because something in you He put for you to run with a vision. And the rest, you know that He will supply. All you have to do is just like Abraham, believe and obey. And as you start walking and fulfilling that calling, God will supply, because He's the God who supplies for all our needs. So be encouraged today. Do not let anything stop you if you know that God has called you. I pray that even today, as you heard this sharing, this devotional, you will go to God and pray about that thing that you know He has put on your heart. And you will just trust Him and run with a vision. So be blessed and see you tomorrow for another Take 5.